when I'm training people, and even in the interview, I begin to learn how people like to be approached. When I implement a new process, hey everyone, we're going to do it this way. There are some people who say, okay, do you want to know why we're going to do it this way? No, you said we're going to do it that way. Okay. They'll just take what I say and they'll just do it. But I always left room for people to ask the questions. For every one of the people who just said, okay, and would run with the new process, there were people who, I don't like it. And oftentimes they wouldn't actually come out and say, I don't like it. No one would react because we're all sitting in a room, and for whatever reason, employees in a room don't want to ask the first question. No one would say anything. And there was a group of people who would continue to do the old process. Do you remember us talking about this? Yeah. Okay, why aren't you doing it? Well, I just don't think it makes sense. We were in the meeting. Why didn't you bring it up? Well, I mean, I wasn't going to question you in front of everyone. That's not questioning me. Questioning me is, I don't think you're a qualified leader to be able to provide us this information. Yeah, you probably shouldn't say that. I came to the point in my leadership career where every time I would introduce a new process or a policy, I would go to the most contrarian people first. Hey, this is the policy that we're going to be implementing. React. And they would point out all the problems that they saw. I loved that. Yeah, that's a great question. I did that because this. Well, this doesn't make sense to me. You know what? I didn't really think about that. Let me come back, think about the whys behind it. So sometimes they gave me something that I had just missed, but I can't think of every permutation of every option. So especially going to those contrarians, been there a long time, the reason they were resistant to change was because they were set in their ways. Me bringing something to them and saying, what do you think? I would get to test my processes early on and make sure that I gave whys to everything. And I wanted to make sure I had every answer. Because if I knew this person was going to have the most questions about it, well, why this, why this, why this, why this, I wanted to make sure I could answer every single thing. And often that gave me the ammunition. I was prepared for every single question because I had already been asked probably the most pointed, specific questions from the most intelligent person in the room. My answers for that person were good enough. I think they're going to be good enough for the rest of the people. When I would introduce a new process, that person became my ally. And someone would ask a question, that person would jump in. I had that question too, but you see, it does make sense because the way he explained it to me is this and this and this. But none of that would have happened if I wasn't cognizant to this person's personality early on. If I didn't tap into that, if I didn't pinpoint this person as that is the guy who's gonna have the questions for me, so that's the person I'm going to use to kind of test out a lot of this communication.